Okay, so you start out with a piece of fabric, and cotton works really well, and you can get a lot of different patterns. This one is kind of a golden paisley pattern. This one is a batik that has already been made into book cloth, and then this is another batik. So what you want to do is first test to see which direction is the warp, and this you tell that by stretching the fabric, and if it stretches not quite as easily one direction and then much more easily the other, the direction that the fabric does not stretch as easily is the warp. And you want the warp thread and the grain of the paper to be running the same direction. And most of the time, paper, like a machine-made paper, has a grain that runs the long way, or portrait. And you can also tell by kind of bending the paper gently, and the direction that it bends the most easily is the direction that the grain runs. And this paper bends more easily this way than this way. And then if you get the paper wet, it's the direction that it curls. It'll be the opposite. So this paper will curl a little bit like this, so the grain is going this way. If it curled like this, then the grain would be going that way. Okay, so you have your cloth. You lay it down face down so that the wrong side is showing. You want to spray it with a little bit of water to dampen it. You can also kind of spritz it with water and then crumple it up and let all of the water kind of soak in to all the different places. You don't want it soaking wet, but you don't want dry patches. Okay, and then you can kind of smooth it out a little bit because you don't want great big wrinkles. Then you use your wheat paste, which is 1 part wheat flour, refined, so you don't have a bunch of whole wheat fiber in there. It's just the white flour, and then 5 parts water. And you bring that to a boil over medium heat, whisking the entire time with a wire whisk, and then you reduce the heat and let it boil for 5 or so minutes the whole time that you are stirring. And after you're done, you can put it through a sieve or a fine mesh screen to work out any lumps that remain. And then you can refrigerate this for several days, maybe even over a week. It will start to smell bad. Okay, so you can see that this paper is curling a little bit down, which is running the same, along the sides of the grain. And then what you do is you pick up your paper after you have the wheat paste on it, and you lay it on the cloth. And it's actually best if your paper is a little bit larger than your cloth. All of this fabric is not usable in this book cloth. And if you have any edges that are sticking up, just add a little bit more paste, press them down. Okay, and then you take your bone folder and kind of smooth it out, starting from the center and kind of working your way out, and then you flip it over and you do the same on the cloth side. And I'm not pressing real hard. My purpose is not to you know, dig in and manhandle it. I'm just running the bone folder across. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use a ruler or any other straight edge. And then you just let that dry.